Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Southern Sandpiper. I'm your host, Kenny, and today is going to be merchant. What the?
Newsflash. Special newsflash. Merchant Service Monday has been taken over by Meerschaum Monday. It is now Meerschaum Monday today. I declare today Meerschaum Monday. Special newsflash.
I don't know what that was about, but welcome back to Southern Sandpiper, and I'm your host, Kenny, and today it is Meerschaum Monday. I decided to change it up today instead of making it my typical Merchant Service Monday. I was talking to a good friend of mine that we've been friends for probably a decade, but we've probably been crossing paths for 30 years. Same circle of some of our friends are mutual. And he's a Meerschaum guy. In fact, Earl, I don't know if Earl at all, and shout out Earl. How you doing, brother? I don't know if Earl's actually has any briars left. I think he just told me the other day he doesn't. Never has been much of a briar guy. But he loves his mirrors. So today we will be discussing some mirrors today. I am smoking my blend that I've brought it before, which is just kind of leftover scraps, but it's kind of controlled leftover scraps. Right now that's comprised of mostly Northwoods, Quiet Nights, a little bit of Father Dempsey, some Lane 1Q and Lane BCA, a little bit of Sutliff Creme Brulee, some Perique added, and I think that is about it. But every time I've got some tobacco left over from a smoking session, I throw it into this jar, shake it all up, and I simply call it Ken's Blend. And I intentionally make it larger because I like it so much. Once I tweak it, get to the point I want, I'll have a whole jar of this saved, and then I'll smoke in a little bit less rotation. Now, a question I get from many new pipe smokers: what is the right pipe that I should get for my first pipe? There's no right answer to that. Many will tell you a corn cob because they're inexpensive, and I would say a corn cob's a great option. There are some very nice corn cobs that have more than adequate bowl size and depth to try out a variety of tobaccos. Of course, you've got briar pipes and a variety of price points, but I still have a Dr. Grabo out here. And something even like this pipe, I think I found for like $25 or so on eBay. Dr. Grabos are not terribly expensive pipes. But there's lots of pipes you can find in that $25 or under pipe. Then you've got Meerschaum. Now Meerschaum, good Meerschaum, is carved out of what's known as block Meerschaum. This is one solid block that's carved. The biggest places of manufacture these right now seem to be out of the country Turkey. They do some absolutely beautiful, stunning work. Beautiful. This one, I like the color of the stem. It's kind of a dark ember. I don't know how much this is coming through. And eventually these start darkening up. I've got a few mirrors that are darkening up some. This mirror is fairly new. It's under a year old. And I have not smoked it a lot. Rooster's being noisy today, which means Noise reduction is going to make him sound like a murdered chicken. Lovely pipe, lovely tobacco. So, what are the advantages of a meerschaum over, let's say, a briar? Well, the biggest advantage is that generally because it is a big block of this material, meerschaum, well, let's call it a mineral. It is derived from a type of sea foam that has been petrified, dug up, very lightweight and porous, and carved. As a result, it spreads heat well, doesn't get very hot, a little bit more than just warm to the touch, even if you're smoking like a chimney. It is porous, so it keeps the tobacco smoke cool. It won't ghost. And you can smoke it every day, multiple times a day. So for a first pipe, I really think a meerschaum's a great choice. One of my first pipes was my Sherlock Holmes gourd calabash pipe with a meerschaum liner, because I did not have much funds. I knew that if I had a meerschaum pipe, that I could smoke it every day and not have to worry about rotation. Flavor-wise, I don't think they color your flavor as much as a briar pipe does. You're getting pure tobacco flavors. So like in this tobacco, for an example, it's a mixture. It's a mixture of mixtures. It's a mixture of Star of the East, some Northwoods, creme brulee, some Father Dempsey, a few other odds and bits thrown in. But I can taste all sorts of qualities in here because there's such a little bit amount of an aromatic. It just adds a nice balance of creaminess to it. I can taste the Virginias. I can really taste the Orientals and the Latakia. The Orientals, and I'm assuming these qualities are coming from the Orientals, is this kind of a floral incensey type note. I don't know if I've described this to you, so let's do that. I get slight hints of vanilla and cocoa. I get the sweetness from the Virginia. I have a nice smoky campfire smell without it being overbearing. It's not that smoked meat, real heavy smoke that I get from some of the blends that I really enjoy. So, nose-wise, you would never think this is a heavy Latakia blend. It's not really heavy. My guess would be probably 25 to 30%. Maybe slightly higher. To me, it smells like that archetypal tobacco shop. You know, that you walk in and because you can smell all the various blends, kind of just unify, and this energy of it. It's just, oh, overwhelmingly delicious. That's what this smells like. And it tastes the same. Really good. You noticed, set this pipe down for quite a bit. And unlike my briars, it usually stays lit for longer periods of time. I can put this down, have a cup of coffee, talk, come back to it, and it's lit. Needs a few puffs to get it going exactly the way that I want it, but it's lit. I've purchased several Meerschaums as estates. Two of them were unsmoked, so it's just like buying a new pipe at a tremendous savings. The others were smoked, and about all I had to do was clean the stems. I cleaned the inside of the bowl with alcohol. I keep them really clean, the insides of the bowls, for a few reasons. One is that you don't want cake buildup, because there's no need for cake buildup, unlike a briar pipe where the primary reason of the cake buildup is to protect a briar. This isn't briar, you don't need it. Secondly, the heat gets dispensed better without the cake buildup through the whole body of the Meerschaum. Third is that color kind of starts leaching through, and I don't know if you can see it there on the inside of the bowl, starts leaching through to the Meerschaum and starts turning in its various shades of browns and golds and honeys. There's not a lot you need to do on a Meerschaum. You don't need to buff it. You don't need to do any of that. I wipe mine down with a microfiber cloth. You can dip them in beeswax, which is yellow. You melt the beeswax, put a cork in, dip them, bring them out. Make sure that nothing gets into the stem or into the bowl. Wipe off any excess, let them dry. Get any excess off the pipe. And that gives them that darker color that you sometimes see on dipped Meerschaum pipes, if you want to do that. You can also just take beeswax and kind of use that to buff them with, to get some beeswax. Some people say they help to color them. I think kind of color them artificially, but do as you will on those. Every face is going to be slightly different, a little bit different curve. I've always liked them. I guess what really first appeared to me as a kid was one of my favorite movies as a kid growing up was growing up in Chicago. We had WGN's Family Classics came on Sunday afternoons. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm really congested. My allergies are horrible. And it's dripping down my throat, too. But we had WGN's Family Classics. And one of the movies that they used to play on there was called The Seven Voyages of Sinbad. And one of the characters that was in that movie was an actor, a British actor, one of my favorite British actors by the name of Tom Baker, who also played in the series Doctor Who as the fourth Doctor, the one with the long scarf back in the 70s, and was the longest run of any of the Doctors. And it's probably up there with my top 3 Doctors. He was my favorite from the original series and then from the reboot. pretty close tie between David Tennant and Matt Smith. That Matt Smith episode, though, with Vincent Van Gogh was just incredible. So many good episodes with both those doctors. Not a fan of the current doctor. It has nothing to do with she's a woman. It's with all the PC bull crap. Let science fiction be science fiction. Let fantasy be fantasy. And Doctor Who is just some great storytelling. I highly recommend everyone get a beer. Get yourself a Meerschaum or 2 or 3. Let's see. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 6. 6 in total. 2 of those are my wife's grandfather, deceased grandfather, Robert Goldstaff, known as Bob. Bob with the B. Bob. Bob, I have created a blend for that I call Bob's blend, which is just a cherry vanilla with some chocolate added to it. Makes my wife happy when I smoke it. The disadvantage for me, I smoke these too quick, and I smoke them down really quickly. You can really chug along in a mirror without it getting hot. So you're very likely to get tongue burn if you go away too quick. But it's really easy to. My cadence is always too quick on these. I have a pretty quick cadence to begin with. But you also burn down. I'm just grabbing this check tool. I've smoked down this far in this bowl so far. And that's total depth of the bowl. Yeah, that's right. So I've smoked at least half of this bowl. And besides the false light or char light that I gave before I came on camera, I have not been smoking. So again, this is not a pipe. This size, this particular one, not all Meerschaums, but this pipe is not going to give you a super long smoke. But that's okay. We don't need super long smokes all the time. And if you want to smoke another bowl of it, pack it up. And that's kind of the beauty of a Meerschaum. See, you're not committed now to one tobacco for an hour. You can smoke this, smoke it for 20 minutes, but you still want to say spend an hour outside on your patio like I am. So you get rid of any remnants, any ash, any scuttle down at the bottom, you dump it. You pack up a new bowl of something else, and you enjoy it. So, to kind of review, yes, and yes. Yes, we like them. Yes, they're great smokers. Yes, everyone should have one. And if you only had one pipe to buy in the very beginning, I would recommend a Meerschaum. Yeah, it's going to cost you more money than a corn cob. No kidding. Look for an estate pipe if your budget's that low one. But this is simply my advice. You can say, Ken, don't get bent. I don't care. Personally, I don't think if you can't afford a decent pipe, which that means you can't afford decent tobacco, so what are you doing smoking, guys? Seriously. If you can't afford the tools and the tobacco, don't pick up this hobby. It's like anything in life. If you can't afford to keep the gas and insurance in a sports car, don't buy a sports car. I don't care if you can afford the payment. Don't buy it. You'll never drive it. It's just be an eyesore for you. You know, why buy a 6-bedroom house if you got one kid? For what? For what? Unless you plan on having 5 more. So, my point is, when you buy a Meerschaum or any pipe, try to keep it within your budget. If this becomes so extreme you can't afford to buy the things you want, or you've got so many other expenses, put a pipe, smoke it for a while. Come back to it. Come back to it at a time that's better in your life. I didn't smoke pipe for a few years. Even though I started 40 years ago, I went through a period I didn't smoke a pipe. I used to smoke a pipe originally, just when I was younger, on holidays and special occasions and family get-togethers, but not a daily thing. And then I went through the period when I quit smoking cigarettes and cigars, that I stopped pipes as well. So that was several years. And then even then, I would only pick up a pipe on occasion, because at that point in my life, I had went through a divorce, had lots of other high expenses, not a lot of income, lost that too, and couldn't really afford to be buying the tobaccos and everything. Once my situation changed, got a better job, life started to get back to normal, got remarried, well, I could start to afford things that I used to enjoy again. So, if you're going to get a Meerschaum, just make sure that you budget for it like everything else. Don't go out of your budget, guys. It's a good way to get in trouble both financially and with your wife. So you don't want to go there. But get a Meerschaum. Highly, 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 highly recommend. We'll be bringing other Meerschaums out later. I'm not going to be doing Meerschaum Mondays. This was a one-it. It is always going to be Merchant Service Mondays. I had an idea talking with Earl, but we may do a Meerschaum day where I can work those into my rotations. So I'm thinking maybe even a Tuesday or a Thursday. Turkish Tuesday with the Meerschaums. I don't know. It's just being silly. Any ideas, you guys give them to me. Thank you so much for joining me again here at Southern Santa Piper. It's always my pleasure to be doing these. I have a ton of fun doing them. If you like them, please subscribe. Hit that notification button. Share my videos with your friends. And again, thank you so much for joining me here on Southern Santa Piper. You all have a great day today.